year pretty much, and you started hearing about Caitlin Clark and the excitement about Caitlin Clark while she was playing college basketball all the way up to she was drafted number one and is now, playing professional basketball. And at the end of the day, she is moving the needle along with Angel Reese and Asia Wilson. But a lot of people have been hiding and disguising being a fan of Caitlin Clark to actually exercise racism and white supremacy. And it was just proven the other day when unnecessarily somebody posted a meme of Caitlin Clark face in place of Derek Chauvin and basically Dejanay Carrington in place of George Floyd. And the NBA needs to address this kind of thing. And I'm going to keep calling the NBA out and the WNBA out on these type of issues because they didn't have no business, doing what they did to Kyrie Irving. They had no problem throwing Kyrie Irving under the bus. They quietly waited incident after incident after incident to start addressing the fans that were harassing Russell Westbrook because of Skip Bayless. It got to the point where they went from calling Russell Westbrook a bum to just flat out calling him the N-word. And then the dude that got banned from attending basketball games tried to lie and say he didn't say that until the audio showed up. But a lot of these people are not fans of basketball. They're using Caitlin Clark's name to exercise white supremacy and saying that they're superior over black people, even though we've dominated this game for pretty much since it for a while, for a minute. I've lost track. And that's just real talk. But for them to put up that meme is just despicable. Now, of course, there's going to be somebody that's going to say the typical rhetoric, hey, you guys need to stop being so emotional and you guys are too sensitive and all that stuff, like I really care. At the end of the day, I'm going to say what I want to say and I'm going to speak when I need to speak. Because like I said, you guys cry about everything. And then I'm going to continue to call out these fake ass black celebrities. They need to be speaking on this. Y'all got all the time in the world to argue about Dr. Umar Johnson's opinion on Eminem, on whether he's a GOAT. Y'all got all the time in the world to talk about him, but then something that's more important, that's more relevant to us and the sanctity of us and our well-being, y'all disappear. Y'all don't push the record button to speak on that, but y'all want to sit up here and argue with Dr. Umar about a white person. But then y'all want to sit up here and tell us we need to vote for Kamala Harris. Selective outrage. Selective activism. I mean, like, come on, man. And like Malcolm X said, this is why we should never take celebrities serious. I mean, this is just horrible to do that to Dejanay Carrington. And it's always been this theme. Y'all gonna have to understand, everybody is not going to kiss Caitlin Clark's pinky ring. And we get tired of every time we have an opinion of Caitlin Clark, you want to holler reverse racism, which, by the way, there is no such thing as reverse racism. Doesn't exist. You got to be in control of something to exercise ism. And that's been proven time and time again. Black people don't have control of anything. So can we please stop that stuff? Everybody has their prejudice. Everybody. But it's always been this thing now. They have put Caitlin Clark on the forefront. And she's getting protected at all costs. At the end of the day, the WNBA could have started marketing the league around people like Asia Wilson, Lisa Leslie, they could have been putting big time advertising in dollars, but they didn't care. And the same thing's going to happen when Cooper Flagg gets into the league, which I'm afraid of. And at the end of the day, it's funny how you get people that'll come on here and tell these black athletes what they need to talk about and put pressure on them, what they need to talk about. Oh, they're role models, they need to address, but nobody is calling on Caitlyn Clark. Oh, Caitlyn Clark doesn't have to speak on this because she just wants to play basketball. But then when you have the black athletes say, hey, I really don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff, I just want to play basketball, then all of a sudden they're ridiculed. Or when they talk about something that doesn't benefit y'all, then, oh, well, they need to keep that out of. It's funny when a athlete that's black talks about racism towards black people, they say, well, we need to keep that out of professional sports. But when it's about something else, when they want you to talk about stuff that's going on overseas that don't have nothing to do with the black community, then all of a sudden they say you should be speaking on that. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the specifics, the specific, you know what I'm talking about, because I don't want them coming after my channel. So that's just real talk. But they would love for you to talk about the other stuff that don't pertain to you or that don't pertain to the community. But when you talk about stuff that directly pertains to your community, then all of a sudden you get people from a whole saying, hey, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. If that's the case, then don't tell us to talk about anything. Can't have it both ways. You can't tell us what to have selective outrage about and exercise activism on. That's our right to speak what we want to speak upon. Anything that can jeopardize and puts black people at risk, and when you want to put that in the forefront, then people don't want to have discussions about that, because like I said, people feel like they could be able to say and do whatever they want to do to black people, because just pray about it, ask God to help you. That's what they tell us. But everybody else can do what they want to do, say what they want to say about black people, and there's next to no repercussion unless you really push the envelope. And then for the most part, you'll get some lighthearted apology and a fake one of that and disingenuous apology, and then they'll tell you to move on. But you say something about anything else, people demand the apology, then it turns into a long slander, a long segment, a long demonization, a character assassination. But here you are. You get this meme put up, nobody wants to say nothing. All of a sudden, everybody want to be quiet. Ryan Garcia can go around saying he want to harm black people, and then you got some of these stupid niggas that's going to make excuses for him and try to say mental illness and all. It's always the excuse. Whatever somebody that's not black does something, go shoot up a school, go shoot up a movie theater, go to some random place and harm innocent people, all of a sudden it's what led to it. What could have made him snap like that? If that's a black person, they will bring up every type of thing that possibly they did or was involved in to demonize their character. Oh, well, he's been going through things and he's been doing things since he was like age 5. It's always a double standard. And I'm going to tell you right now, for the people that think I'm supposed to just sit up there and take it and I'm being too emotional, fuck y'all. Real talk. You're not going to tell me what I need to get over. I don't take orders from white people. Not when it pertains to my channel. You're not going to tell me what I need to be mad about or what I need to move on from. You don't do it. The reason why black people are where they are now, because we sat up there and tried to protect and be cool with everybody else. And all we did is get finessed and get tricked and get disregarded. You see what the Democrats are doing. You see what the politicians are doing to us, slapping us right in our face with the powder. You see what's going on in Chicago. You see what's going on in California. You see what's going on in Colorado. We just supposed to sit up there and just take it. Don't respond. Don't say nothing. Turn the other cheek. Pray about it. They're not telling that to anybody else. That's horrible. This is why you know that what happened to George Floyd was some kind of symbolism of white supremacy. But to take that picture, that horrible picture that everybody saw, which everybody witnessed a black man being murdered in front of the world by a racist white cop, that says a lot about people. Says a lot about their character. And that's just real talk. You gotta be kidding me. And then, the funny thing is, a lot of people try to justify what happened to George Floyd. They'll say, oh, well, I don't know if you know. Well, George Floyd, this happened to him. He allegedly did this. Listen. Listen. At the end of the day, he paid his debt to society, and it was never proven that he tried to pass a counterfeit bill. So having a counterfeit $20 bill justified you being murdered, having somebody basically have their knee on your neck for almost 10 minutes, and you constantly telling the dude that you can't breathe, and the dude refuses, and the dude taking pictures, and you constantly and you constantly telling the dude that you can't breathe, and the dude just refuse. The man is already subdued. He's handcuffed, and Derek Chauvin just kept his knee on his neck, celebrating, proud of what he did. And people sat up there and was trying to justify that. You even had a few YouTubers trying to justify that, like that Coon Tatum and a few other people. Nobody deserves that. But to use that as a meme, oh man, to use that as a meme, to so-called demonstrate Caitlyn Clark's dominance, which, by the way, her shooting percentage as a whole really isn't that good. And she leads the league in turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. That's real talk. Everybody saw what happened to George Floyd. That was just horrible. It was horrible. But to use that as a meme, come on, it's not. To be honest with you, it's not that serious. And a lot of these people are just not basketball fans. They're white supremacists. They're racists. They're bigots. And the NBA and the WNBA, they need to cut this shit out. Enough is enough with this subliminal racism. Because like I said before, they didn't have no problem demonizing Kyrie Irving. But they hide from these type of subjects. I haven't seen Stephen A. Smith going in like he loves to go in on the brothers. And as far as this thing with Deion Sanders go on the side note, I could give two fucks about Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a master coon and a coward. This is the same dude that defended a white dude that's on video saying he'll fight every nigger in here. And instead of Deion Sanders calling him out, he tried to call black people out. So fuck Deion Sanders and his sons. And for that matter, fuck Stephen A. Smith too. Yeah, exactly. There ain't no put the cameras on me for that. But then again, Stephen A. Smith signed that extension. He is completely owned by ESPN. He is their lapdog. And I think another reason why people are getting mad because we are gaining momentum because we're putting these things out there. If ESPN and mainstream media don't want to talk about this, we will. We should be calling the NBA office right now, demanding one, that Adam Silver and the NBA ban Ryan Garcia from attending any type of NBA event. And that they also address racism directed towards their players and protect their players. And it's easy to get the NBA number. All you got to do is Google it. They have a hotline. Adam Silver has an email. If you are a content creator, make a video calling out the NBA, demanding that they correct this shit. So that's just real. Her opinion is of Caitlin Clark, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of those NBA players should have it in for Caitlin Clark, because some of them, a lot of them laid the groundwork for her, and they didn't get acknowledged. But all of a sudden, this white woman comes in, they make it look like she's the savior. They could have been put money in behind the WNBA, but they chose not to until Caitlin Clark came along, who has won nothing. Didn't win nothing in college basketball. Hasn't won anything in professional basketball. And then people will say, well, I watched the league because of her. Okay, fine. Okay, that's cool. If you want to support Caitlin Clark, that's fine. But I'll support Angel Reese and Asia Wilson. I don't have to like Caitlin Clark. I don't have to support her. But at the end of the day, I don't wish ill will towards her. I don't wish violence towards her. Like a lot of people wish towards Angel Reese. And you have public figures doing that, like that racist David Portnoy, that racist, and a few other people, and Jason Sudeikis. They never keep the same energy. So there you have it. Anyway, I'm out.